Welcome into the Bassmaster Studios, and 2020 has gotten off to a hot start with the St. Johns River and then the 2020 Bassmaster Classic, the 50th edition. And one of the hottest anglers in the sport of bass fishing this year is John Crews. And John Crews, welcome into the studio today. Thank you for taking the time to talk with us. Obviously, we wish we could be there in person with you, shooting some bass fishing right now. But I wanted to talk to you about your hot start to 2020. Not only did you finish second at the St. Johns, which was impressive in itself, but a great showing at the Bassmaster Classic and having a chance to win the 50th. That had to be something special. And so it's been a great 2020 for John Crews and your whole fishing family.
Definitely getting off to the right start on the season. You know, just trying to be like Stetson Blaylock. He's off to a hot start as well. So I'm just trying to keep it going and keep fishing. And it seems like when things are kind of hectic and crazy, that's when I do my best for some reason. And maybe that's why I did do well at the Classic. And based on all the crazy cancellation postponements and travel restrictions or whatever else is going to happen here going on today, maybe whenever we fish again, maybe I'll be it'll be right up my alley. So we'll see.
You've got a kind of interesting aspect to you because not only are you an angler, it was hilarious at the Night of Champions at the Classic. We were like, let's have all the sponsors stand up and we'll acknowledge them for supporting fishermen in this industry. And you looked around and you're like, do I stand up? I mean, I sponsor. And then you stood up, and then you were also a part of all the angler ceremonies as well. You've got a lot of balance going on, which means you've got to stay agile and versatile. Same thing that's happened on the water these days with 3 days at the St. Johns. You had to change your game plans there with all the weather. With the Bassmaster Classic, it seemed like you caught them different every single day. So what's that been like, just working on the fly the first 2 months of the season with you're introducing baits as well into the market? There's a lot going on right now.
Yeah, definitely. It seems like the more stuff that I have going on, the better I perform or the better things happen, because it's, you know, I'm forced to manage my time wisely, and that a lot of times that turns into successful campaigns one way or the other, either on the water or, you know, releasing the new Missile Baits quiver and Nico weights or whatever it might be. It seems like that I function better when I don't have a whole lot of extra time, and that's definitely how it's been recently. But it seems like now I've got an extra week in the office here, and I'm going to try to take advantage of it and get caught up on a few things that I have not been able to do, and then just get ready for whenever we fish again.
So you finished off the 50th Bassmaster Classic with a top 10, and you mentioned it in interviews. One of the first times of your 12 classics that you had a chance to win going in the final day. That's got to be a special feeling as an angler, and also an accomplishment knowing, hey, I've got a shot to win the biggest tournament in bass fishing, and it's somewhere I haven't been before. This is kind of uncharted territory for me, just because of the way that event plays out every year.
Right. You know, throughout my career, I've had a number of regular season events that I've put myself in position to win. I've only won the one on the California Delta, but I put myself in position to win a number of them. And it was really bothering me that I had not even done that in a Bassmaster Classic, to feel like that I had a shot to win it going into the last day. So this was definitely fun. It was almost a relief to put myself into contention, because on the back end, looking back at it, it doesn't seem like it wasn't that difficult. You just have to get things to really line up for you. And I feel like that the way that I practiced and prepared for this Classic was the best that I had ever done, as far as finding the right type of fish to get you into contention, and even finding the right type of fish to help you win the Classic. And I didn't try to do a whole bunch of different stuff, even though I ran around a whole bunch. I had about 6 or 8 different techniques and baits that I was, you know, kind of focused on. And, you know, I didn't throw a number of different baits that I normally throw in normal tournaments, just because I just didn't feel like they were going to be factors in a winning bag. And so I plan on working my butt off all the rest of this year and making sure that I'm in the 2021 Classic, and I can do it again, put myself in position, and see if I can't make something happen.
If you're just joining us, we have John Crews, Bassmaster Elite Series Pro, coming off a top 10 finish at the Classic, coming off a second place at the St. Johns River, and he's joining us on a Skype today. So, John, that's what you were just talking about, the Classic, how many baits you had going for you, but you had 2 or 3 main areas that you fished, and then you just adjusted each day because every single day seemed different for you. Walk me through that progression from bait adjustment and change and how you saw Guntersville changing, because in the spring, lakes can change quick, and that's what it did, it seemed, over those 3 days of competition.
Definitely. And based on, we were going to have some colder nights, looking at the forecast early in the week, we were going to have some colder nights. And I felt like that the grass bite was going to be inconsistent, let's just say inconsistent. So I looked for some grass, obviously, to make sure you take advantage of that. But I also looked for some deeper water stuff, not super deep, but, 4 to 10 feet of water. I looked for different areas that they were holding fish, and I found 2 different patterns. One was fishing 2 different areas that had some rock. One of them was a road bed, one of them was not, and they were holding fish, but I couldn't figure out when, why, where they were going to be on or not, and so I ended up having to fish those areas both days, or actually all 3 days of the tournament. And the one day that area was red hot. But then the other deal I had was fishing docks and some other wood. That really let me down. In pre-fish, it was a little more consistent than it was during the 3 days of the tournament. And I don't know what the factor was. I don't know if it was a water level change. It kind of got them off of those areas a little bit, or what. But that dock bite on Guntersville, I don't care what time of year you go there, it's hit or miss. It usually is hit or miss, and I'm surprised for the ones that I hit, and the other wood areas that I hit that I didn't catch more. I did catch some fish each day off of docks and wood, but I'm surprised I didn't catch a little bit more based on what I did the weekend before. I felt like I should have caught some more quality fish and more fish, and then I did find out after the tournament that I think it was the second day. I went to this one area that I had caught some fish on some docks, and lo and behold, I didn't know it, but I found out later that Brandon Lester had already been in there, and that's where he caught the majority of his big bag on day 2 was that area. And that right there is just bad luck. If I could have gotten a couple of those quality bites on the second day, I would have had one of those serious bags, and I would have been right there nipping on Hank's heels. But that's how it goes. You just don't know. You don't know how the chips are going to fall until afterwards, and then sometimes you don't even know things like that. I just happen to have a friend of mine that saw it all unfold end up telling me what went on.
So, John, take me to that moment on the final day. You catch a 6'10" or almost a 7-pounder. We know over the last 4 or 5 classics, crazy stuff happens on the final day, and anglers go for the win, and they don't end up needing a big bag because the leader stumbles or falls. For you, when you caught that 6'10" to 7-pounder, did you think you were in the game? Did you think you had a shot? Because that was a considerable lead from first to second, and then from second to third where you were. It was a considerable gap, but that erases a gap pretty quick. So did you think you were in the game when you caught that fish, and what did you need to do to maybe close the deal after that?
Yeah, definitely. That fish, it got me so fired up you wouldn't even understand it. I mean, I knew like this. That's the bite you need to get in order to get you where you need to go as far as winning and closing it out. I had no idea what Hank was doing. That jerkbait bite that he was on, man, that thing can bite you in the butt. I know it. I've seen it happen on Guntersville before. I've seen it happen obviously on other lakes as well, but I didn't know. I mean, I didn't know if he may come in with 10 pounds or he may come in with another 25 or 29. I didn't know. I had no idea what he had. So I just wanted to make sure that I beat everybody else in the field and give myself a chance. I knew when I caught that fish, all I needed to do was cull a couple of these little small fish that I had. I had a couple 15.5 inchers in my bag that last day, and I felt like if I could just catch a couple more of those. And so I ran the areas where I thought I could get, a couple 4 to 5 pound or bigger bites, and the rest of the day, and I never materialized. The sun kind of popped out that afternoon, and water temperature had warmed up to 57, and I picked up a buzz bait, fished that for a while. I punched for a while in some primrose that I had found earlier in the week, and I knew that was going to be something that could happen as the nights get cold. Those fish pull into that primrose, and as the sun warms up, they're just going to stay right under that. And it didn't happen. It didn't happen. But looking back on it, I'm like, man, I fished everything that I felt like I should have done in order to try to catch a couple of those quality bites that you're going to need to close out the Classic, and it just didn't happen. So that's just the way you have to look at it. You can't second guess yourself too much or anything like that, because I mean, looking back on it, man, I fished so much good looking stuff and so much stuff that I'm just surprised I honestly didn't catch more than I did.
You should have been there hovering above the Bassmaster Live set on the final day of the Classic when you picked up a buzzbait, and we're like, everyone's fist pumping. Like, if this happens on a buzzbait the final day of the Classic, it's going to be legendary. And so we were all excited to see it. But for you as a business owner, you're not only a business owner as a professional fisherman, but also as a company. This week's kind of different. We were supposed to be at Chickamauga, postponed that event because of the virus, and whether people think it's serious or not, it affects a lot of different things. So what are you doing this week? You've obviously been a busy man down in Alabama at the Bass Cat Owners Tournament after the Classic. What are you doing this week and next week to prepare yourself so when we do get back fishing, everything is taken care of?
Yeah, I mean, I came back here into the office, and because of all the stuff that's going on with the COVID-19 right now, we had to make some changes here in the office as far as shipments coming in and out. We closed the office to the general public coming in, kind of reduced the foot traffic coming in and out. I mean, before we could get that message up on the door at 10 a.m., I think we had about 6 visitors, and it was, but we got that figured out, and we talked about some other logistical things here in the office that we're going to try to do to get ahead of all this, because if you're not taking this COVID-19 situation seriously, you really, really should, because I mean, for example, I was messaging back and forth with one of our dealers in Italy, and he contacted me the middle of last week and said, hey man, it doesn't look like that your country is taking this situation very seriously. And he said, I'm over here in Italy. I'm telling you right now, this is bad. And we're in it's a bad deal over here. And then a few days later, we talked back and forth. And then by this weekend, he saw a lot of the restrictions and a lot of the guidelines, and then a lot of the press conferences that were happening. And he said, hey, man, it looks like you guys are starting to take this thing seriously. And that's good, because I don't want America to get like Italy is right now. Now, there's a lot of other circumstances that would take a long time to go into, but there's a reason I think that the United States won't get to where Italy is now. But we need to be proactive and not retroactive, because once it's out, it's out. I mean, there's nothing you can do. I've been doing a lot to deal with that, but then been trying to, like I said, get caught up on things that I haven't been able to do the last month or so. I'm going to try to get to that stuff here later in the week. And also, we had to cancel our Missile Baits owners tournament, our Missile Baits no entry fee tournament we were going to have this weekend on Smith Mountain Lake. We had to postpone that. The tournament trail, Angler's Choice tournament trail that we were going to piggyback with, they postponed their tournament that was for this Saturday. We postponed ours for Sunday. And then, hopefully within the next week or so, we can get a lot of clarity from the government as to how prevalent this is, the hotbeds of where the outbreaks are, and then hopefully how we can manipulate our events to hopefully still have the Eufaula and Santee.
That's the hardest thing for fans and for even staff and for anglers to understand, is like, not only is it's just bass fishing and you're out on a lake, you're away from people, you're excluded. That's exactly what we want, is to be away from people. But a lot of people shake hands, a lot of people travel places to get places, and it's not as simple as boats showing up and fishing. And we've got to look at the rest of the season. If you want to risk everybody by trying to get this event going this week after Tennessee announces, state of emergency and stuff, it can be tough doing Eufaula, Santee, even, the Sabine and Texas Fest, all of that. It could affect a lot more than just that specific week. So as you as a business owner, you understand that as well. Yeah,
those CDC guidelines that they just put out this weekend, they want to prohibit gatherings of 50 people or more. That's for the next 8 weeks. That's the next 2 months. They're recommending no gatherings of 50 people or more. That's a long time, man. That's serious business. And I hope that people understand that that's what we're looking at here. And we need to make sure that we take it seriously. And the majority of healthy people like myself and you, Ronnie, I mean, you just had the regular flu the other week, and it's no joke. This deal is no joke for certain people. for normal, healthy people and for children, it's not a health risk to you individually, but it's a health risk as a carrier and someone to spread it. So we do have a percentage of our population that is susceptible and can be very negatively affected by the COVID-19 virus. So we just got to take it seriously. We all have to do our part and make sure we cut down the reduction of the spread of this.
So when we do get our season back underway, what is maybe one or two places? Now, I know John Cruz because I've messed up and asked this question before. What event are you looking forward to? What event are you not looking forward to? And you say the next one or all of them. I know how you fish, but looking at the schedule, there's a lot of places that we haven't been to in a while that we're going back to, and then there's also places that are fresh in our memory that are fish factories. So there's got to be some exciting things, knowing that you're second in Angler of the Year right now, have a shot to win Angler of the Year. That's what you want. Going forward, how do you expect this season to play out?
Man, hopefully the next two events we're able to have on schedule. Eufaula and Santee. I haven't been to either one of those places for a Bassmaster event in at least 10 years. Both of I don't know which one I'm more excited for. I know that Eufaula is peaking right now. We are going to hit it as long as everything goes on schedule. We are going to hit it at a fantastic time. They're just going to be all over the bank, big ones. It's going to be just a total smash fest. I don't know if it's Eufaula or Santee. I really like Santee. I was there when Preston Clark caught that 40-pound stringer. I pulled up about 15 feet from him when I watched him pull 5 8-pounders out in a row and put him in his weigh-in bag. And I thought I had a good day. I had almost 30 pounds. I had 29 something pounds. And I looked over at my partner. I said, my day was not as good as I thought it was. And we got a big kick out of that. But I've had some good tournaments there, especially that time of year. And I'm looking forward to probably the next 2 tournaments more than any. But man, the whole rest of the year looks absolutely awesome. And I will add this as well. It was not a tournament, but often us Elite Series anglers don't get to fish with each other. And yesterday, before I was leaving Alabama, I got to fish with Derek Hudnall, and we got to fish in a private area, and we absolutely smashed them. Derek had been in there before. He kind of knew the deal a little bit, and he put on a show for me. Man, we absolutely smashed them, and that was a lot of fun to just actually get to fish with another Elite Series pro. And so Derek Hudnall put on a show with that mini flip jig. It was pretty cool, and of course we got it all on video. Good.
I can't wait to see that video for one, but I'm going to put you on the spot right before we end this deal. We've got Chickamauga, Eufaula, Santee. You've got the Sabine, Lake Fork, St. Lawrence River, St. Clair, and Champlain. That's the rest of the year. How many of those do you realistically think we could break the century mark on if it lines up, the way it should be, the way the schedule is right now, and then we don't know when we're going to put Chickamauga. But of those lakes, I mean, are we looking at 2, 3, a possible 4 that'll get close?
We could do it. We could do it at 4 of them. You can do it at Santee. I think you could do it at Eufaula. Last time we were at Santee, I had 92 pounds, and I was like 6th or something, 8th. I wasn't even in the top 5, I don't believe. But then we have, I think Fork is, something's crazy got to happen to me at Fork for us to not hit that century mark. So that one's going to be really special. I think that probably has the highest potential. And then of course, I think we can break it at Chickamauga, as long as we don't go too late. I think, I don't know when we're going to be able to reschedule this thing. If we go past about mid-May, then I think that the chances of it go down. If we get it before then, if we can get it in before then, I think we have a chance. Honestly, I haven't really even looked at my schedule to see when we even potentially could go back, but that's probably with 3, maybe 4.
I'm looking forward to seeing if we can finally break the smallmouth century mark. We've been close in 3-day events. It's been projected that we could do it. You know how the 4th day is. You never know if smallmouth leave or stay. But with St. Clair and St. Lawrence there, we've been close both of those places. That'll be interesting. But John Cruz, thank you for joining us. Obviously an unexpected week off with the postponement of Lake Chickamauga. But, hey, it's another week to soak in your top finish at the Guntersville Classic and also prepare for the rest of the season and get your whole business in order as well with missile baits.
That's right. I appreciate it, Ronnie, and I look forward to seeing everybody. Even if we don't see you in person soon, hopefully we'll be talking through Skype while I'm actually holding a rod and reel again. That's what I'm looking forward to.
Yes, I'll see you. You won't see me. You'll just hear us. And also, when we hang up, make sure you text me that location where you guys smashed them.
Yeah, no.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you, John Cruz, for joining us. That was John Cruz. We appreciate John taking the time to talk to us. Obviously, an unexpected week, but he obviously is on a hot streak right now, and he would love to have back-to-back tournaments if he could to continue his hot streak for 2020.